Hello and welcome to another First Taste video. However, if the pulsating biohazard sign in the background weren't enough of a warning, tasting what we have on offer this time may not be the wisest course of action, as today we are going to be taking a look at Plague Inc. Evolved by Endemic Creations. If the name is familiar to you, that may be because you are familiar with its predecessor, Plague Inc., a mobile game of some popularity. Now, other than the fact that Plague Inc. Evolved is available on PC via Steam Early Access for around about £11, which I believe is about $15 US, this game has been redesigned from the ground up and will include a slew of new features on top of all of the existing expansion packs for the original game. Features such as cooperative and competitive multiplayer, a scenario creator and a world builder, lots of eye candy and endgame replays. However, being in early access, not all of these features are ready yet. Yes, I'm looking at you, multiplayer. But I digress. For those who are unfamiliar with the original game, in a nutshell, Plague Inc. puts you in control of the evolution of a deadly plague, of which there are numerous types for you to select. From humble but ever-present bacteria, subtle parasites, all the way up to imaginary mind-controlling brain worms. And you must help the plague infect more people, continuing to evolve its capabilities, or devolve in some cases, and generally guide it towards the goal of infecting every living human being in the world. And then killing them. All of them. But don't worry, you can let the puppies and kittens escape. We're only interested in killing the humans in this game. Thankfully though, we do all of this from an eye-in-the-sky vantage point, somewhat like DEFCON, and don't necessarily need to get close and personal to see the poor sods we infect explode with diarrhea and skin lesions. Which is just as well, as the game is rather realistic in its simulation of the inevitable grotesqueries of the plague spread. So much so, in fact, that the Centre for Disease Control and Prevention have praised the game, which they say helps to raise public awareness on epidemiology and disease transmission, among other things. Even going as far as to invite the developer, sole developer I might add, to give a talk at the CDC. Now, with the introduction out of the way, let's put on our biohazard suits and get ready to get our hands dirty, metaphorically speaking of course, in crafting the ultimate pathogen. Well, here we are, about to commit a very undapper act. I'm not sure if I'm up to this, honestly, but better me than you. I will shoulder the burden of this sin so that you don't have to. And I guess on the plus side, if I'm the one making the plague, I'm unlikely to be infected with it. So, you know, there are pros and cons to this course of action. Now, as I said in the introduction, not all of the settings are in the game yet. There aren't too many that are locked out, multiplayer being the big one that I particularly wish was available. But right now it's just the main game. So we'll pop in there, and that's fine because the main game is plenty to play with at the moment. Now, as you can see down the right there are lots of different plagues that you can unlock. I've unlocked all of them on casual. You can unlock them on any difficulty level, and casual's pretty good for that because it only takes you about 15 to 20 minutes to complete a level. You have to win in order to unlock the next plague. And to win, you need to have infected everyone in the world and then killed them. Now, there is one plague that is still locked due to early access, and that's the Necroa virus. I think, from what I can read, it's going to basically be a zombie plague. But we have everything else, from nanovirus, parasites, fungus, everything. But we're going to be starting on bacteria because it's the one that you start with, and I was going to say it's the easiest, but I actually don't find it to be that easy. I think the parasite is probably the easier one. Now, genetic code. Every time you complete the game, even if it's on one of the settings you've already completed it with, you unlock a new gene. I haven't locked even most of them. I've only unlocked 30%. All of the evolution genes are locked. It's kind of random which one you get. We've got one environment gene, and that is Xerophile. Now, I don't think there's any bonus to not taking a gene if you've unlocked it. So if you only have one in a tree, you may as well equip it. Even if it doesn't really play to the strengths of your playstyle, it's still going to be a benefit in some way or another. So we've got Xerophile there. That'll give us a bonus in arid climates. We've got Terracite and Aerosite. Now, these affect how you can transmit the virus, the plague, across borders. There are 3 types of borders. There's sea, air, and land. And because I'm going with arid, I'm going to go with Terracite because a lot of arid countries border each other land-wise. So Terracite will help me spread a little faster. So we'll go with Terracite. Now, I've unlocked all of the mutation genes. These are the first ones that I got unlocked. We've got Darwinist and Creationist, different sides of the same coin, obviously. Darwinist increases the chance of the plague mutating, and Creationist decreases that chance. Now, mutations mean that in the normal game, you purchase things like symptoms and various evolutions to your plague with DNA, but when something mutates, it does it for free. It can only mutate something that you've unlocked a path to. I'll show you that in a little while, but the main thing to keep in mind is it's free. Genetic Mimic makes things harder to cure, base oxidization and hydrolysis. Now, typically, when something mutates, it can only mutate something in the symptom tree. But these two allow it to mutate in other trees as well. So this one allows you to mutate in the ability tree and this one in the transmission tree. It'll be a little bit more clear once we actually begin the game. But for the sake of having a fun game, because generally speaking, especially early on when you're trying to be very strategic and control how your plague is evolving to maximize its impact, you don't want random things just being mutated. So it can get a little bit hectic, especially on the virus plague, which mutates very quickly anyway. But we're going to go with Darwinist just for some fun. ATP boost, just flat DNA at the beginning, so there's really no point in not taking that. Now, the difficulty settings are brilliant. I love the descriptions. Casual, for new players or those wanting a quick game. No one washes their hands. That's pretty bad. Research doctors don't work, and sick people are given hugs. Now, if it weren't for the fact that no one washes their hands and you don't have any doctors, this would be a rather quaint and cheerful little world. Oh, you're sick, let me give you a hug. It'll make you feel better. It won't, it's stupid to do that, but it's quite a sweet thing, I must confess. Now, normal, I believe this is based on real-world data, which this part specifically, that 67.3% of people wash their hands, that boggles my mind. If this is actually based on real-world data, my lord, that is terrible. I would have expected it to be at least in the 80s, like mid or high 80s somewhere. But for experienced genetic strategists, doctors work 3 days a week. That's a rather cushy job, I must say. And sick people are generally ignored, which, for better or worse, I'd probably say is the closer to the truth in reality. Brutal, for strategic geniuses living in concrete bunkers. Compulsive hand washing, that's more like it. Doctors never go home. I can't imagine that's very good for their concentration, but okay. And I love this bit. Sick people are locked in prison. That's fantastic. I mean, it isn't fantastic. It's terrible, but I just got this image of someone, like, you know, coming into work with a bit of a sniffle, and it's like, nope, off to the gulag with you. Wow. Mega brutal. For players who thought brutal was casual. Genetic drift impacts evolution. Doctors invest in research and random medical checkups. Now, I've never even gotten halfway through the game on Mega Brutal. I've almost completed several of the plagues with Brutal. I'm just slightly off. I think that those times it came down to random events, which there are random events in the game that can impact in a negative or positive way your spread and how the plague is coming along. And I think that comes much more into play with Brutal than in Normal. Now, we're going to be playing on Normal, though. Casual, as I've mentioned, it's about 15 to 20 minutes for a game. Normal, 30, 35, I find. I usually play them on their fastest speed setting, just to keep things moving along. Now, the name of the plague is very important. Because, you know, people are going to be dying of this eventually. We need to have an impactful name. And I've thought on this before deciding to do this first taste. And I've warned you guys. I've tried, all the best intentions in the world. I've tried to lead you to the right and true path, but so many of you are still enamored by coffee, and I just don't know why. So I'm going to have to prove to you how bad it is for you. I'm going to show you how bad coffee can get. Okay then, welcome to Plague Inc. You are now a new bacteria. I am Aavak, but I will be controlling a bacteria in this particular instance. To win, you must evolve and spread across the world, wiping out all humans in the ultimate plague. Select a country to begin your new plague. When you click on it, you can see more information. Now, the country selection does have a certain amount of strategy to it. The way you've built your plague, certain plagues will benefit in different sorts of environments. You also want to know how many people are going to be there and how easy it's going to be to get out of the country you're in. For that reason, with the specific set of genes that we've got, that is Terracite and the arid environment bonus, we're going to go with Egypt. Egypt has a lot of land borders to other countries which are going to benefit our particular plague, and also has 2 ports and an airport. It also has an enormous population. Java Mortis begins in Egypt. Java Mortis infected its first human. Weak and used to hot temperatures, it must evolve using DNA points. And we have some DNA points to spare. Now, you can leave it on slow speed in the beginning, but honestly, I find that the slower speeds are better later on when there's loads of things to click all the time. So we're going to speed that up. Now, we've got a bit of ATP. And we've also got a few things to explain. Now, this information here, I don't tend to watch that too much, but later on, it's a little bit useful to see how many daily infections you have versus daily deaths. You do not want to be killing faster than you're infecting. Down here, you have the main bits of information on this particular screen, and this trend graph also ties into that. Lethality, exactly what it says on the tin. The higher this, the faster people will die once infected. Infectivity, again, pretty self-explanatory. The higher this is, the faster you're going to spread the virus, or plague, rather. I should stop calling it virus, but I will probably say that more than once. But severity, this is a little bit more ambiguous, so I'm going to explain this one. Now, severity is effectively how scary the virus is. That's literally the tooltip. But what a scary plague does is the scarier it becomes, that is by hurting people or making them very uncomfortable with the symptoms that it has, the more notice people are gonna pay to it. The more notice they pay to it, the faster they're gonna decide that they need to start working on a cure. And the more scary it is, the more likely someone's gonna go to the doctor about the symptoms they've got. So you want to keep this really low to stop the humans from trying to cure the pathogen too early. You want infectivity high, severity low, and lethality 0 early on, but then stupidly high in the late game. Now, we've got several different DNA boards, and this is where you're going to spend a lot of your DNA. Probably you'll spend most of it in the symptom board, as this has the most far-reaching effects on all 3 of these: infectivity, severity, and lethality. Abilities, these parts are typically the same for every pathogen, though there are a few exceptions, but generally you'll have climate resistance, drug resistance, and also certain things that make producing a cure a little bit harder, and then an ability tree specific to the type of plague you're playing. Bacteria, for example, has the bacterial resistance. We can create a bacterial shell to protect against all climates. So this is basically combining the climate purchases into one nice easy ability tree. Viruses, for example, have mutation abilities. Nanoviruses have rewriting code abilities, things like that. Symptoms, as I've said, this is going to be where you're going to spend a lot of your time. Transmissions, though, these 2 govern just flat transmission through air and water. They don't really affect anything else. They don't affect severity or anything. They just help with moving around. And then all of these have 2 effects. One, they will help in certain conditions. For example, the birds will increase infectivity, land transmission, and mutation. All of them increase mutation. Rodents, better in urban situations. Livestock, better in rural countries. Insects, better in hot countries. And blood contact, transmission via direct blood contact, better in poor countries. But all of these increase mutation. Now, that's something that we're going to be trying to play towards later on. But for now, given the current situation, we're starting in Egypt. I usually like going for coughing, though. You could go for the air transmission as well, because it benefits arid environments specifically, and plane travel, and Egypt does have an airport. But right now, we're going to go for coughing. It doesn't have much severity, but it does have a reasonable amount of infectivity, and it only costs 4 points. And straight after that, you can get sneezing, which costs 6 DNA points, but has a huge jump in infectivity, and again, a very, very minor impact on severity. Fluid discharge through sneezing greatly increases infection rates. Disgusting, but very good for what we want to do. We've successfully evolved Java Mortis. Fantastic. You'll get those tooltip pop-ups constantly. Excuse me. I seem to be coming down with something. I hope it's not Java Mortis. But I've not found a way to disable this. They pop up every single game. It's a little bit annoying. But we want to pop the DNA bubbles. We also, well, basically, you want to pop any bubble that shows up. Some of them are good, like these ones, which give you more DNA. Some of them are bad. If they're on the screen for a long time, you want to get rid of them quickly because they help the cure. Java mortis begins to spread. It's spreading from person to person in Egypt and will grow exponentially. We have infected 14 people so far. Hopefully this speeds up a little bit. There we are. It's starting to speed up now. We've got 12 more points. I think we are going to go for air transmission though. This is going to help with getting on planes because the bacteria can survive on dust particles. But generally, it's just going to work in an arid environment. Ooh, a festival of love in Egypt. There are lots of these random events, and as I've said, some are good and some are bad. This one's good. Egypt celebrates the festival of love. Fans praise the replacement for International Kissing Day. Critics question hygiene standards. Now, we want to pause that, because if we can get something that helps us with kissing... Yes, here we are. Nausea. Irritated stomach lining leads to discomfort. Slight chance of infection when kissing. We want that right now to benefit from the fact that people will probably be doing more kissing. You can see specific information on the country by clicking on it. You can see the specific traits of the country. For example, Egypt is not wealthy, it is arid, and it is hot. This is the city cam. Every country has one. It shows you the relative state of unrest in the city. Right now, everything is good in Egypt, though we've got 198 infected. This information only really plays on the global screen, so you won't really see much there, but you will see down here how much medical research Egypt is contributing to the cure. There isn't a cure underway at the moment, so that's not really a problem, but down here you can see which countries are infected, which aren't, and which have been completely destroyed, either because anarchy or we've killed everyone. Over here you can see how many people have got their land borders, ports and airports still open and how many have been closed, and also the research status. Right now no one is researching because no one knows that we exist, and that's the way we want to keep it. We've infected hundreds in Egypt, increasing the chance that an infected person will infect a healthy person. Keep evolving the disease. I will once I've got some more DNA. Right now we're getting plenty of DNA because of the infection spreading. Middle East has been infected. The disease has taken an important step in becoming a plague. When a new country is infected, you get the biohazard sign there, and they then become available for the DNA bubbles. London Olympics mystery. The mystery still surrounds the decision to postpone the London Olympics. Organisers promise it will happen soon, but no reason has been given. I hope it's not us. Now, the thing with infection as well is you get DNA from infecting people, from killing people, and from biohazard signs and DNA bubbles. So infecting new countries and DNA bubbles. However, not all plagues get DNA from infecting people, and that's worth noting. I think the parasite does not. Now, we've got a couple of things that we could evolve into. We can afford most of them, but I'm going to spend a little bit of money, DNA, on bacterial resistance, so that we're going to increase our resistance to climates, various climates. And I'm also going to invest in Water 1. The pathogen can survive outside the body in fresh, warm water. Increases the infectivity, especially in humid environments and ship transmission, because I want to start trying to make use of Egypt's ports. We've infected thousands. In Egypt, people are being infected faster and faster, and we've also spread to Libya? Yes, Libya. I'm not that bad with geography. I am. I'm actually terrible at it. Usually when I get it right, it's just a guess that's gone well. Right, so Java Mortis infecting more countries. Is infecting more countries? Control where it goes by evolving transmission traits in the disease menu. That is a good point. You want to try and force it into certain areas. One of the worst places to get to is Greenland. So I'm going to be trying to get up. Oh, fantastic. As you saw there, the ship was red. When a plane or a ship is transmitting a disease, it's red and it'll leave a dotted trail, so you can kind of see how it spread. But we are now in Spain. Now, I'm thinking we're going to start being in urban populations, so I'm going to go for rodents to try and help with that. Spain isn't one of them, surprisingly. Medicine in Spain is slowing the infection. Okay, we need about 13 to 14 DNA points to fix that. We are now more infectious than tuberculosis. I've said that wrong. TB. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it the correct way the second time. It's a very infectious disease. Fever symptom mutated. Ah, that's not good. Fever is a lethal symptom. Increases the temperature, contagiousness, and severe dehydration, which can be fatal. If we devolve that, it'll cost us 2 points, but it will drop the lethality a lot. No, we're going to keep that one. I'll let it start killing people here and there. I know that's not so good, but we'll also go for rash. The skin becomes blistered and painful, slightly increasing infectivity. Keeping this, I'm not sure. It might pay off for us, it might not, but we'll start killing people early. You can get by a little bit early on. Fever isn't too bad. Lots of other things also have fever, so it might not give us away, and, you know, we'll get a kickstart in killing people. It might take a while before anyone dies anyway. We haven't infected that many people overall. Oh, no. Suddenly we've infected quite a lot. And killed quite a lot. In a normal checkup, a doctor in Egypt found a new disease, which has been named Java mortis. It appears to be mostly harmless, but must be investigated. I've killed thousands of people. How can I be mostly harmless? First death in Egypt, which... How infected is Egypt? We've infected 61 million people in Egypt. My lord. That is crazy. No wonder they're looking into it. We are now more infectious than HIV. Java mortis has infected more people in the world than HIV. It is an extremely infectious disease, and we are spreading like wildfire. This is good. Well, I mean, it's good for us, not so much for anyone else. Now, I think we're going to invest in drugs just to help us in wealthy countries. Specifically, this means our pathogen is now resistant to class 1 and 2 antibiotics, increasing the effectiveness in wealthy countries. And... in hot countries, which most of our countries are right now, I'm going to go for insects. Insects are susceptible to infection. Carrier insects increase infectivity, especially in hot climates, and chance of mutation. So we'll go for that as well. Egypt starts work on a cure. My lord. I knew we shouldn't have left that bloody fever. Oh well. The cure won't be too bad right now. Oh, the London Olympics are back on. The Olympics will be begin soon, despite Java mortis. Will people bring the disease to the UK? I can only hope. Now, as for the cure, we now have someone working on it. It's going to take 31,000 days until completion, because Egypt is the only country working on it. Let's just check out Egypt specifically. They are contributing $828 to research. I'm not sure how often they're contributing that much money. Hopefully very infrequently. And it's going to take them a long time. Yeah, we're in London now. They're doomed. And hopefully, lots of people leaving the Olympics are going to take the disease with them back to their home countries. For this, I would like to get water too. The pathogen is able to survive in chemically treated water, increases infectivity, especially in humid environments, and ship transmission. It's going to cost 19 DNA points for that, though. Oh, we're in Russia as well. London Olympics infect UK. People infected with Java mortis came to London and spread their disease. It should have never gone ahead. Oh, London, when will you learn? Hopefully never. Java mortis killing very fast. Oh dear. People are dying in Iran faster than new people are being infected. This is not so great. Let's maybe I should get rid of this for now, but I really do want to keep it. Let's go for vomiting. The expulsion of infected material through projectile vomiting increases the risk of infection. Very minimal severity, but a decent bump in infectivity. Also sweating, perhaps? No, we won't go for that just yet. But I am going to sink a couple of points into genetic hardening. Pathogen becomes harder to analyze in the lab, decreases future research speeds. In addition... no, we still need to save up for that. We've got... we need 5 more points for that. Hopefully we can get that soon. We're starting to spread really nicely now across the equatorial regions. And... lot of ships and planes are going everywhere. Banks report record profits. Really? Global banks reported record profits today and announced cheap loans for everyone. Public forgives banks and goes back to shopping. What? Oh, do we have such a short memory? I don't know. Right, okay, we have spread all over the place. This is fantastic. Let's see, how many countries are left? Oh, right, there's far less. About half as many countries haven't been infected. Unfortunately, among them are some of the countries that are hardest to get to. We need shipping. So the pathogen can now survive in chemically treated water, and we also want extra... Well, let me actually have a look at that. No, that needs boats. That we could get to Iceland by air. Greenland, we need ships. For the Philippines, we need ships. Okay. New Zealand, I think they're infected. Okay, that's good. Australia isn't, surprisingly. Okay, so it's mostly the shipping that I need here. So let's go ahead. We've already got that, so... Most of the places I want to get are in colder environments, so I'm going to sink 10 DNA points into bacterial resistance 2. The shell is thickened, further increasing bacteria survivability in all climates. The third one will be the bacterial shell practically impregnable, further increasing bacteria survival in all climates. We'll see how this goes. I need to get up there soon. Immune suppression symptom mutated. Java Mortis has mutated to develop the immune suppression symptom. Let's check what that one is. Oh dear. Lethality has taken a big jump because of this. The pathogen attached to lymphocytes, suppressing immune system and allowing significantly greater freedom of mutation, can be lethal. I'm not liking that, but we need to spread faster. We really, really do. I'm going to go ahead and... let's see. I'm going to sink... yeah, we're going to sink the rest of our points into the bacterial resistance to improve our climate tolerance. We need to get up here, but it's just a matter of time until someone who is going to send a ship up to one of these two goes there. More infectious than the common cold. My lord, that's impressive. Wow. China just exploded. Poor China. You are doomed. Egypt shuts down airports. It's too late. You've already let us get everywhere. Egypt has become the first country to limit the spread of Java Mortis by limiting access into and out of the country. Time will tell if this works. It won't. We're already out. Ah, oh, thank goodness. Right. Now, I just need Iceland to infect Greenland. Come on, guys. You know you want to share. In fact, I'll help that along by getting one in cold resistance. This should help us up there. It evolves to withstand cold temperatures and climates. So, hopefully they will start spreading much better. Up to 8. It's not actually going nearly as fast as I would like, though. Java Mortis is placed on a watch list. Java Mortis has been placed on the RMS watch list. Already dangerous, governments are warned that it could become unstoppable. That's because we're already lethal. It'll tell you different things, like it's mostly harmless or various things like that, depending on what it said. Anemia symptoms mutated. Let's check that out. We've got 106 DNA. I should spend some of this. Decrease in red blood cells or hemoglobin in the blood can lead to hypoxia of the organs. Now, immune system produces inhibitors that destroy factor 8, preventing blood clotting. Infectivity increased. Yeah, we'll go for that, I think. I might even go for skin lesions, but that increases the severity so much that I'm afraid people will start shutting their borders soon. And I really need to get to Greenland before then. Total organ failure is the king in terms of symptoms. If we save enough DNA that once we've infected the whole world, we can just buy that, we will probably win. I'm going to go for bird 1 though. Birds become susceptible to infection. Avian carriers increase infectivity, land transmission, and mutation. There we go. Hopefully we can cover ground a little bit more. Yeah, this is exploding. The places where we have infected are just going crazy. We've killed more than the Black Death. We've killed 54 million people. Crazy. Iceland is leading a global cure effort. Well, I don't mind if you lead the global cure effort as long as you can spread to Greenland. Now, we need to pop the blue bottles because they are actively helping the research. And by popping them, we stop that help. And fight the cure. There's 2 ways. Basically, you can be aggressive. Aha! We've got you. Aggressive to the countries which you've infected, which are helping the cure the most. So you'd go out of your way to start killing people and break those countries down. But I think we're pretty much everywhere. We just now need to spread across land. Yeah, Ukraine, Sweden, and Finland. We should be able to win this. I'm going to go for land transmission with bird 2. Avian brain tissue compromised, causing birds to attack other species. Increased mutation, infectivity, and land-based transmission. Now, let's see what we can do. Let's go for sweating. The loss of fluid through sweating also increases infection rates due to poor hygiene. More dangerous in cold countries. Oh, that's good. And as disgusting as this may be, well, actually, no, we're going to wait on diarrhea because it would increase the... oh, wow, that is fantastic. We've infected 2 new countries. Pulmonary oedemia has been mutated. What have we got there? Potentially fatal heart abnormality causes breakdown of respiratory system, releasing pathogen into the air. Okay, well, that's Kind of horrible, but okay. We just need a few more countries come on before their shipping lanes close down. Someone, please. Have we got them? Yes, I think we have. Oh, yes, of course we have. I already saw that. Right. Have we got everyone? We have! Haha! Now we just need to spread more. The cold countries seem to be resisting the most, so I'm going to go ahead and sink some of our substantial DNA into cold resistance 2. Lowers the intercellular water volume, preventing freezing. I'm also going to invest in genetic hardening too. The pathogen does not reproduce in lab conditions, decreases future research speed. They're up to 24% though, so I'm also going to invest, maybe, it's 25 points. Yeah, okay, we'll invest in the genetic reshuffle. The pathogen DNA strands reassembled. More work needed to find a cure. Now, if we have a look at this, it should drop. There we go. It's dropped a fair bit, actually. Everyone in the world is now trying to fix this. We've killed more than the Spanish flu. 25% complete. We really need to spread more. Oh, no, 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 no. That's far too early. Total organ failure symptom has been mutated. We need to shut that down right now. Look at our lethality. We need to de-evolve that for 2 DNA. There we go. My goodness. Let's not run before we can walk, shall we? Canada has not been infected nearly as much as I would like. We really need these places to be infected. Projectile vomiting symptom combo. There are quite a few symptom combos that you can get. Coughing and vomiting are causing the infected to projectile vomit, increasing the infectivity of Java Mortis. In fact, along those lines, I'm going to go for insomnia and diarrhea. These have various combos that are pretty good. Insomnia has one that will increase the time taken to cure. In fact, we may go for paranoia straight off the bat as well. Irrational delusions and mental symptoms. Victims' distrust of others makes them unlikely to seek treatment or cooperate with others. That's good now that we're already everywhere in the world. So it doesn't matter that the severity increases. And the same for diarrhea at this point. Poor countries are very vulnerable to diarrhea. Pathogen active in the digestive tract, causing infection through feces and potentially lethal dehydration. Okay. Now it's exploding all over the place. That's fantastic. I mean, it's not, but you know what I mean. Oops, symptom combo. Sneezing and diarrhea are causing unwanted accidents. Oh dear. Lowering productivity and drawing attention to Java Mortis and the unfortunate sods who've had that. Cysts symptom mutated. Java Mortis has mutated and developed the cyst symptom without using DNA. But we're almost 50% towards a cure. That's not good. Where's cysts? There we are. Painful lumps containing pockets of the pathogen. Slight chance of bursting, which can spread the disease. We need more spread, more than anything. Okay, we'll go for skin lesions. Breakdown in the epidermis causes large open wounds, which significantly increase infectivity. That's only 18 points. This needs another 5 points, so we can't afford to spend on anything else. But we should have enough people that we can still infect that we can get enough points for that. And as you can see, most of the planet is now just exploding with Java Mortis. I warned you all. I saw this coming. I mean, in this case, I'm actually actively causing it to happen. But it's for your own... Well, it's not really for your good at all. I'm just trying to prove a point, damn it. Java Mortis genome fully sequenced. Java Mortis has had its genome fully sequenced by scientists. RMS researchers say that this breakthrough will help the cure efforts. That's not good. Damn you. We've killed more than smallpox. New statistics show that Java Mortis is the deadliest plague ever. It has killed over 300 million people worldwide. And look at the world. Let's have a look at Egypt. How's Egypt doing these days? Good old Egypt. Where are you, Egypt? You at the top? No, you're not. Where are you going to be? There you are. Okay, life is still pretty normal for you. It's very, very few dead compared to the amount of people that infected, I suppose. Let's find someone who has had a lot of deaths. Oh, Iceland still isn't that infected. I can't... Damn it. I can't go for organ failure until Iceland is much more infected than that. Normal life in Australia is beginning to break down due to Java Mortis. Cure research is starting to slow. Good. I approve. Ah, there we go. Profuse bleeding symptom. I don't think I've had this one before. Hemophilia and skin lesions are causing the infected to have blood pouring out of their skin. Oh my lord. See what coffee does to you. You fools. Pneumonia symptom mutated. Tea doesn't do this to you, I promise. Now, where's pneumonia? Serious fluid build and discharge from the lungs. People in cold climates especially vulnerable. This one would be a good one to go for as well. Necrosis. Large swathes of infected tissue lose blood supply and become fatal sources of gangrene. Decomposed bodies remain a vector of transmission. That's brilliant if you've already killed a lot of people, which we have. But at this stage, I really think we need to go for total organ failure. Let's have a look. How infected are you? You're pretty infected at this stage. There we are. There are no more healthy people left in the world. The last healthy person on the planet recently became infected with the Java Mortis. I'm not counted among that. I'm in my concrete bunker. I'm perfectly safe with an inexhaustible supply of tea. Total organ failure. Catastrophic cell death of multiple tissue types causes body-wide organ failure and rapid death. This is pretty much the game killer. Once you get this, populations just crumble. That's why you have to wait. If you go for that too soon, you will be killing people far, far faster than they're becoming infected. But I'm sorry, everyone, but you're all going to die now. Look at that start to climb. I feel so bad. I am so sorry. Yes, there's really no hope for you at this point, everyone. You are dead. If only you drank tea earlier, it might have built up an immunity. I don't know. But as you can see, we're getting more DNA as a result of this, and we do actually need to spend some on slowing the research efforts. 30 DNA. A new strain of the pathogen now exists, increasing the work needed to develop a cure. It's pulled back a fair percent. But as you can see, the deaths are skyrocketing now. We are going to win. Botswana is in anarchy. Botswana is the first to fall into anarchy. Due to Java Mortis, no cure research can take place. And it's all starting to slow down. As people are dying, there's less people to research. Though, bless them, Iceland's still trying to do the good work. I do admire your tenacity there, Iceland. I acknowledge you as a worthy opponent, but we're going to invest in necrosis since there are so many dead people. This is just... I mean, we don't really need to spread it at this stage. We're just buying things for the sake of glory right now. Let's see. Yeah, you were so close as well, world. You almost beat us. You almost successfully survived the ravages of coffee, but we knew it was a foregone conclusion, really. I mean, coffee is coffee. You were doomed. 81% you got to. And now we just wait for the last few people to admit defeat, to accept the inevitability of their fate. And give in. It takes ages for the last people to die as well. They really dig their feet in. Java Mortis to destroy humanity. Java Mortis has destroyed the world despite the world's best efforts. The last few humans know they are watching the end of history. It didn't help that the scientists were drinking coffee to try and stay alert whilst researching. It kind of doomed them, honestly. The perfect virus. There we are. There, everyone is dead. Java Mortis has successfully eliminated all life on Earth. It hasn't eliminated all life. I've already said the puppies and kittens are fine. They don't drink coffee. New gene discovered. Fantastic. We've got aquasite. I imagine that will help us move around on the oceans, which is actually pretty good. I'll probably roll with that one in the next couple of plagues I do. That I probably won't be recording. I might. I don't know. I might do one on every type of plague. I really don't know. But that is it. We have successfully killed everyone. And we've got 3 out of 5 biohazards. Lovely. The genetic complexity was complex. The cure progress was 80%. It took us 550 days to do it. We were a bacteria. I'm not going to share it with anyone. No one needs to know that I am this diabolical. But with the end of humanity comes the end of this first taste. However, I'm pleased to be able to say that what I've shown here is far from everything there is to see. Not only are there numerous symptoms, symptom combos, and transmission types available to be unlocked in the game that I didn't get to show, resulting in different paths to victory, but the numerous other plague types themselves can have a drastic effect on how you will experience the game. From the fungal plague with its non-standard infection mechanic to the nanovirus, which begins the game with the whole world scientific community fully aware of its presence and actively working on a cure. And of course, then there's also the bioweapon, which grows rapidly more lethal over time, creating a real race against its own lethality in an attempt to infect everyone before it kills the last infected host. there's substantial replayability here. And that's before you consider all the genetic unlocks you can get by completing the game. Add to that the fact that the developer is still making improvements and adding more features, and I imagine I'll be playing this game for quite some time to come. So it goes without saying that I feel it was a good purchase. Of course, that may have a lot to do with the fact that I enjoy these sorts of simulation games, but I fancy if you enjoyed watching me teach the world the horrors of coffee, you'd probably enjoy crafting your own plagues as well. But that's it from me. I do hope you've enjoyed this glimpse into the game Plague Inc. Evolved, and I hope you'll join me for the next First Taste video. But until then, and as always, do take care.